people thought scraps were still good. Vio here, and we're going to be talking about the new archetype that's coming out, and people have already talked about it, and I didn't, but I decided to talk about it now. It's called Genryu, or Worms, or as it's kind of currently known as, Yang Zing. Well, this is a deck that is kind of like Scrap 2.0, because they like doing that. For some reason, right now, Konami's releasing a bunch of decks that are like older versions of decks 2.0, with Shadows kind of fusing the ideas from Gem Knights and such, fusing into a very, very, very effective version of, like, mixing kind of like Gem Knights and Dark Worlds together. At the same time as we've got this Constellar Noble Knight thing, hybrid thing for the Stella Knights. So what do we have with this? We've got a remake of the decks, the like dragon decks in general, along with the deck Scraps. And this deck is 100% based off of when any of them die, they kind of tag out with other versions of themselves. Sort of like, once again, improving an older version or older type of deck, such as the Gladiator Beast. So what does this deck do is when one monster dies, you can summon another monster. And using your trap card, you're able to take all of them and just synchro summon them into the big guy, apparently ignoring levels. That's a ruling I was trying to figure out about, but I wasn't 100% certain on. Now this guy gains different effects, and they all gain different effects based on what they're synchroed on. One of them gives him like attack, one of them makes it so he can't be targeted, one of them means he can't be destroyed, and stuff like that. And in the end, this deck is really, really, really good. Each one of them tags out with other cards. You have the trap card that makes it so when one of them dies, you get two. You've got the card that comes out that says when one of them dies, you can draw a card, correct? So using all these different cards, you are constantly going plus. The deck is very, very well designed in that aspect. I think these new decks are really cool because Konami is actually releasing at the same time 2 to 3 to 4 decks that all at the same time are going to be really good. At the same time as when you use older decks, you're able to add in new text and such like that to be able to compete with these new decks. And Konami really does that. I mean, sometimes they'll throw one deck in there and they'll give them some support, and sometimes they'll make a deck that gets support over a while, like Prophecies when they finally hit their prime. And you've got different decks like Medolces, which are just now getting their good cards. Well, this is a deck that I think right now, boom, Konami's like, we're giving you 3 good decks. You gotta pick your one. And then you can use your old decks if you want to try and compete with these ones. Konami's done a really good job of balancing that. This deck right here is really, really good because you cannot kill them by destroying them in any way, shape, or form, because the second they're destroyed, they get more. And they can go plus off of that. You kill one monster and they will summon 2 from their deck. You kill one of the, it's like the Hydra thing. When you kill one head, 2 more comes in its place. It's a very well designed deck. And then in the end, they'll just be synchroing into really good cards. Have you ever tried to deal with a Scrap Dragon that's like impervious by battle, or a Scrap Dragon that says, I gained it like, what is it, 500 or 1000 attack? It's sinking great, especially with the Scrap Dragon in this deck. Destroy one of my cards, destroy one of yours. Well, I destroyed your card and my card, I get another card back, I get another card back off that, I get a draw card off of that card, and now, what am I going to do? Continue to go off, because the deck is so well designed. And you can change the levels, because when one dies, you change it from a level 4 to 3, 2, or even 1, or even the 1 tuner. They only got 1 tuner, but that guy's great. The whole deck's amazing. And each one feeds their own version of Medolce Queen, which is just thinking, what is it? It's already like 3 cards, and shuffle them in the deck. And it's so great, because, I mean, ignoring the fact that you have to target it, you get shuffle 3 into the deck. It's so awesome. The deck is so awesome. It's going to be really cool. Blue's freaking out about it. He's loving how they're playing. It's definitely going to be a deck he's going to play. I'm going to be playing Shadows because I think they're awesome. Curry Bandit's a cool card for the deck. Oh man, you might excavate 3 of the same guy. If you excavate 3 of the same guy, you suck at shuffling. And you need to practice at shuffling. Yeah. I think that this deck is going to be sweet. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be able to compete very well with the Stellar Knights and the other deck. It's just Shadows and Satella Knights each have their own aspects which hurt, but Shadows can shut down the Genryu just as easily as Genryu shut down the Shadows, and then the Stella Knights shut down Genryu and Shadows just as easily. I think it's 86 is what gives Stella Knights this thinking super edge over everything in the world, saying, I will not let anyone do anything at all. It's just the deck there is really, really good because of that one card aspect. You've got Shadows that say, you can't touch my best card. My best card cannot be touched. And Genryu who say, I summon my synchro, you don't have anything. GG. That's my opinions on the Genryu, or the Worms, or the Yang Zing, whatever you're gonna call them. I know I changed what I called it throughout the entire video. It's right now they're Wyrms, like WYRMS, and they have Yang Zing as the current archetype, and they have like one other card which is a normal monster called like the Armed Dragon Reborn or something. I can't remember. It's just the deck. This Yang Zing deck is really cool. Not only do they have those good monsters, just to bring it up really quick, but they have their own version of Avarice, which will be at 3, and it says target 3, shuffle in the deck. You can only use 1 per turn, you get to draw 2 cards. It's like, tell me where the downside is. Oh man, I opened with 3 and only 1 monster. Okay, set monster. You killed it, get new monster. You killed it, get new monster. Okay, my turn. I can summon another guy, synchro it up, and then boom, back to 3, draw 2. Next turn, back 3, draw 2. I mean, the deck works so well. They constantly are getting plus, and it's so cool. Can you shut this deck down? Sure. I'm just going to flip up my macro, defissure, soul drain, mind drain, skill drain. Yeah. That's my opinions on this deck, this archetype. It's got traps that make them go more plus. They've got traps that say you lose. They've got spell card that says if I have 5 different types in the graveyard, you lose. It's going to be another really good deck. I think all 3 of these decks at the same time, so awesome. Tell me what you think about this deck in the comment section below. It's really awesome in my opinion, and thanks for watching. Yeah.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul.